Welcome back to the Whiskey and Wisdom podcast. As you can tell, we are still not back in the studio, but we are out in Surf City. I am your constant co-host, Chris Kellum, and I'm with Tyler Y'all and the amazing Sadie and Chris. This cute couple has multiple social handles, Instagrams, and we're here to talk about a few of them. Brittany introduced us because she thinks this, I would say Sadie was the first one we found out about. Has been traveling a bunch.
You could say I'm the better half. That's okay. You can introduce me as that. That's totally fine.
Well, that's when I was doing some research. I was like, well, Sadie's done a bunch of travels, but the note was as soon as she met her beautiful husband, that's when things started changing.
That's right.
Yeah, I like the direction of this podcast.
Right. It's your time.
It's time to shine.
Yeah.
For those who aren't who are watching, thank you. You can kind of tell that Sadie is a little pregnant.
Oh, just a little. This whole thing?
Yes. But we're not drinking anything but water today.
I did bring my equivalent to whiskey. I thought it would look like whiskey in a glass and maybe rage bait some people if I sipped it. But
yeah, there you go.
You should have told us beforehand.
I know. You would have said it was.
Right?
Yes. Right.
That would have been good.
I'm like,
Drinking
I don't
scotch.
think you know I'm a million months pregnant and that I'm off whiskey for the next few weeks. But
We were talking about that at work. Like, we have a lady who comes to visit us, and I could have sworn she's been pregnant for the last 4 years.
she probably feels that way too.
Well, she had twins that, like, were super big, and then she just had another kid. I'm like, maybe it's just because I have that age gap where I don't see you for, like, 8 months, and then you come back as pregnant.
Right.
So I think you're pregnant all the time. But besides the point.
Don't tell me that in a few weeks.
Hopefully she
No, I
doesn't
think you'll
listen.
look amazing. Now, if I don't see you until next year and you're pregnant again, I'm like,
Whoa, is this number? Yeah.
is this the same
Is
kid?
everything okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about yourself. We know a little bit. For those who don't.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
So Chris Busch, been in North Carolina now for about 5 years, maybe coming up on 6. Met my beautiful wife, Sadie. We were a little bit all over the place. Joined the Coast Guard right out of high school. I was about 19 years old. Okay. Did that for about 9 years, bounced around, and ended up getting stationed in Hawaii, which was awesome. And then met my beautiful wife, Sadie, out there, and kind of just spiraled into everything we have now.
And I'm Sadie Busch, formerly Lagosio. Just went through my official name change 3 years after marriage. But so I'm originally from New Jersey, and I went to Rutgers University. And from there, I worked at Disney for a few years, and then found my way out to Hawaii. I was focused on wildlife conservation and some marine science work, and that's where I met Coasty Chris over here. And from there, we started our adventures, and it took us to a few states, including New York, and then we found our way out here right at the start of COVID. So,
What brought you out here?
So I picked up a set of orders with SMTC, which is just right at Camp Lejeune. There's only like 20 Coast Guards there. I was one of them, and super fortunate to get located here. We didn't know what a Sneads Ferry was, or North Carolina, never thought twice about it, but picked up the set of orders and on our way.
And my whole thing, it was like, well, there's water there, I think. I can find a job.
Yes.
I can do something I like. So, we packed up, and we had 13 days notice, and we came on down.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Don't they usually give you more notice?
No. Just to directly answer that, no.
Okay. Dang. At least in the Army, they typically would tell people like 30 days in advance before you have to change duty stations. Yeah,
this was a transition period for us where we had, I've actually gotten out of the Coast Guard twice and hopped back in, so I'm a very decisive person naturally. So when we went to jump back in, just pretty much reached out to my command and said, how do I do this? And they said, you got to have an interview or submit an application by midnight tonight, and it was about 4 p.m. at the time. So we talked it over, discussed it over the night, and said, all right, let's do it. The next day I had an interview, and the following day they said, the job is yours, but you got to be here in 13 days. And that's kind of how that played out. So
that makes
grateful for it, though.
Right. Still in Coast Guard now then?
No, so I've got out. Yeah, right. Maybe there's always one more, So
Just wait a couple of days, we'll have the conversation again.
I might hold the record for the most in and out of the military that you can do before not getting retirement. So I think that's what I'm going for.
It's the hear me out conversations that scare me the most, or excite me the most, depending on where that goes.
So hear me out.
That's exactly how it starts.
Yeah.
I can get a signing bonus, and we can use that to invest in another house.
Exactly.
We have had those conversations.
We've had that exact conversation. Yes.
See?
So way to do it. Just keep rolling the sign-on bonuses.
I miss sign-on bonuses. They were so nice. So you moved down here. I'm assuming because of your Marine background and because we're at Topsail, you've worked at the Sea Turtle Hospital or helped out there or anything?
I volunteer with the organization currently, mostly during the summers for sea turtle nesting season, where we have a group of patrollers up and down the beaches every day, tracking and looking for sea turtle essentially footprints leading to their nests, and then analyzing the data there and keeping an eye on it till they hatch. And then through the year I do some volunteer work with them, and if there's ever any educational activities going on, happy to hop in there. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of like marine stuff going on here because we're at a beach.
We are at a beach, a very nice one, a very turtle populated beach, turtly awesome beach, if you will. And
That was pretty good.
No, so the job that I originally moved down was actually down in Wrightsville, and it was for an ecological tour on a boat, and we both have boat experience, and it sounded like a great idea. Coming from New York in a busy area, an hour and a half commute seemed like nothing to me at the time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, but I was actually on my way down here, moving, and I got the call. COVID, like I said, and they were like, hey, we got to put the operation on pause for about 2 weeks, so if you want to stay up in New York a little bit longer, I won't be able to pay you. And I'm like, I'm already halfway there. So I don't think that tour industry or company opened up for probably over a year after that, so I went in a little different direction and
Good.
eventually dove into real estate, which I'm sure we'll get into, but yeah.
So you brought her down here because you joined back in the Coast Guard. How was that? Because you guys have been together while in the Coast Guard the whole time. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes.
I did not realize that Coast Guard would throw people all over the country like that.
It's usually by the beach, which is a cool part about the Coast Guard. So it's got some nice duty stations.
There's a coast to be guarded.
Yeah.
You know the guys.
So technically, could they put you in the Great Lakes area?
Yeah, there are definitely stations in the Great Lakes. They do ice water rescue, and they do some pretty cool stuff over there. But I've been very fortunate. Everywhere I've been, it's been warm and nice and sunny, so I've been really, really lucky.
Good. So you dragged her down here.
That's right. Well, first, if we start at the beginning, we were
Dragged.
very happy living the Hawaii lifestyle. It was awesome. And we were there for about 2.5 years, loved every bit of it. It was almost like a honeymoon. And then I said, you know what, this is great and everything, but it would be even cooler if we got out of the Coast Guard, moved back to New York, and lived in my parents' basement while we had a little landing pad. And somehow Sadie was on board for that, which was great.
I was trying to figure out how you ended up back in
Yeah, that was the first time I got out of the Coast Guard. And at that point, I decided that I was going to get out. Any place that I was going to get stationed after Hawaii was not going to be, it was not just simply going to be Hawaii. And I didn't want to end up on a large boat just floating in the middle of the ocean. So I said, you know what, I'm going to get out. I'm going to be a New York City cop. I had already taken the test.
Oh, wow.
And I was ready to go, ready to sign. And that was all playing out exactly as we kind of were hoping for. And that all changed when I went to my reserve station because I stayed in the reserves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I talked there was 4 or 5 guys there that were city cops. And I asked them, I said, what it's like. I'm about to do it. Tell me everything. And every one of them said, please don't do it. And that rocked me a little bit because that was my whole plan. I thought I was going to be a city cop, chase the pension, and do it for 20 years. So that really pivoted quite a lot for us. So
Yeah, and being from New Jersey and having grown up there, loved my childhood, loved the atmosphere and had an amazing experience there. as soon as I left, I had zero plans of ever returning. Never a part of my plan, never on my bingo card. So when Chris proposed the idea, and mind you, we were not engaged at the time. There was zero formal commitment other than a bright and sunny promise of a future. When he proposed the idea, the truth is, like, I would have followed him to the ends of the earth, and I just was like, I guess I'm ready to go when you are. And it was hard to leave. I don't think at the time I was emotionally ready to leave Hawaii. I was really enjoying my time there. Looking back now, I think that we left before we ever became jaded, and we're excited to continue to visit and go back one day if we can.
Good.
Makes sense.
So you haven't been back yet?
Funny you ask. We just went back. So we left in 2019.
Okay.
And, every so often, we talk about, like, should we go back on vacation? Should we visit? Where do you want to see again? And I was really real with myself. I'm like, if I go back there, this is going to mess me up. I'm not going to come back. Like, if I go. So finally, when we found out that we were expecting a baby, we thought, like, let's go back and visit where it all began. And we took our Babymoon out there. So this past December. So we have been gone 7 years before we went back. And
it absolutely messed Sadie up.
Absolutely messed me up.
Oh, okay.
And, every day I have the hear me out conversations about, like, so hear me out. Like, what if, wouldn't it be a cool place to...
It would be cool, but it is so far from everything else.
It is very far, yeah. And at 24, I didn't care. Further the better. But now it would be a little harder to leave family. And I'm not saying we wouldn't do it for a few months out of the year, and that's kind of how we wanted to build and set up our life anyway. And then choose the location based on vibes. Yeah.
Are you both in real estate now then?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We are both currently in real estate. So I got my license in December of 2020. It was the year that we moved here. So for that backstory, I had stayed in New York 2 more months after Chris got his 13-day orders to come down here. I had to finish up work. It was baby seal season. It was crazy. So I eventually came down, and by the time I got here, Chris had been listening to Bigger Pockets podcasts in real estate.
Beardy Brandon.
Yes, Beardy
That's
Brandon.
right.
That's right. Yeah. So he had been in touch with a real estate agent. I had no idea of anything real estate. My underpaid minimum wage making self never thought I would even own a home. And we moved too much. Why would we own a home? Things that I thought about. And it was Chris out here that was Googling, like, how to make money fast.
After we were broke as
Back
you could
against the
possibly
wall,
be, back against the wall, not happy with our move, everything was falling apart. That was definitely a rock bottom, if you will, for us. So yeah.
So once I realized that, like, okay, he's into this real estate thing, I'd like to participate in conversation from time to time. And the only thing I knew in real estate to ask a real estate agent showing us a house was like, do you think this is haunted? And, like, kind of hoping it was. That was my only, didn't know what a mortgage was, didn't understand the concept of, like, what do you mean you're buying a house? Do you have X amount of cash that I didn't know about? Like, I didn't know how it worked at all. So it was COVID and my job hadn't started. I had this time for the first time ever, and I took a real estate pre-licensing class, literally just to learn what the heck he was talking about. And that spiraled into me becoming an agent, meeting Sean McDonald here, who we'll give him his flowers later, how that all started. But joined a team, got into sales. At first, it was more how can we open doors for ourselves and manage our own deals and things like that.
Right.
Eventually, when Chris got out, one of the times, I don't even know which time.
How many times have you gotten out?
So I guess I technically got out, switched to reserves, got back in, did a few years, and then got back out again. So twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the last time, he also got his license, and we were working on the same team together. Eventually, we realized, like, why are we doing this separately? We should just become one. So now he plays a lot of Catfish Chris in my emails. He's
Really good impersonation, both on the rental side
uses
and
a lot
also
of emojis, exclamation marks. So yeah.
Which does lead me down a conversation we were having earlier.
Yeah.
Which generation are you a part of?
Oh, I am a millennial.
Really?
Through and
Okay.
through, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
We were debating like names.
Okay.
And I heard you guys talking about Laura's and Sadie's, and I was like, I guess I'm the middle to upper side of the millennials, so
Okay.
I hear Elizabeth and Brittany, Emily's. Those are my millennial names, and I was
Same.
like, I haven't heard of a Sadie that's like in
Yeah.
my bracket.
It's an older name. It's a family name, and
okay.
It actually happened because here's my birth story, everybody.
Starting way back.
Yeah, taking it back from day one. So my parents were expecting a boy. I have an older brother, and they had a name picked out. Everything was fine and dandy. And my dad, he's a musician, and he asked my mom, if we have a little girl, how do you feel about the name Guitarra? And my mom was like,
I'm not joking, right?
no. Yeah, that's probably what she said. And she was like, absolutely not, but good try. They had a couple names in mind, but she's like, but it's not going to be a girl. Like, they wouldn't have told us otherwise. And lo and behold, I was born. I was a scheduled C-section around a Rod Stewart concert. And, and when I was born, I am a girl. And, I was once again proposed the guitar idea, and my mom pulled this fact out of her brain that was like, hey, isn't it your grandmother's birthday? And my dad's like, my grandmother's been dead for like 30 years. I don't think you've ever met my grandma. I'm like, is it her birthday? She's like, no, it's definitely her birthday. And her name was Sadie Paris.
Oh, I like that.
From day one, my mom had my back,
Right.
So yeah, not a whole lot of Sadies. I do meet a lot of dogs named Sadie, and I'm always flattered.
I can see that.
Yeah, when people say like, "Oh, my dog's name is Sadie," I guess like some people might find that like kind of offensive, but I'm always like, "Tell her I said hi."
But they were named after somebody amazing in their person's life. That's how
Yeah.
I'll phrase it.
Yeah, scratch her butt for me. Like, tell her she's a good
Right.
girl. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm assuming you're also a millennial.
Yeah, yep. So born in 95. So
With a Chris name.
yeah, a lot of Chris's. Yeah, we're learning.
Yes. I go through waves at work. Like people come in and I'll go like a month where like every third person's named Chris.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, great. And then it's like nobody.
Yeah.
Chris or Mike. That's the going theme.
Yes.
Yep.
Great ones. And then there's Tyler.
There's some Tylers out there.
I'm from PA. Like
Okay.
everyone in my high school's name was Tyler. So it's like me and everyone else.
Well, that does make sense.
It's
do
a good
wanna take-
lacrosse name.
That is, I
Yeah.
was a little too early to like lacrosse being like in
Yeah.
Amish country, Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
that came a little bit later after me. But I want to take a small turn though. It's kind of selfishly,
please.
and I'll tell you why in a second. So real estate, and then Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Tell me about how all of that came together.
Yeah, there was quite a big gap between the start of real estate and the start of Costa Rica and how that all unfolded. So we originally got into real estate for the purpose of investing, and
Okay.
being in sales and agent was kind of just the bonus
Right.
and the vessel and the vehicle to get us to more deals quicker and be at a point in our life where we always do it for the why, and our why is to spend each day exactly how we want. We define success a little unconventionally, and we'll get into that too, and how we see that. But anyway, we were investing locally for years. I mean, we owned an investment property before we owned a primary resident, and then we got down the Airbnb route, and we're like, hey, we're pretty good at this, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, it was all the eggs were in this basket here in the greater Jacksonville, North Topsail area, from Swansboro, the furthest one being in Holly Ridge or so. And again, we found different strategies that worked for us, and Chris can speak more on that in terms of the hows. But it was actually our honeymoon in 2023. We went to Belize. And in Belize, we'd never been. I had an uncle that lived out there for years, like pretty remotely, and I'm like, let's see what this was all about. And we're big scuba divers. We love to hike. We love being in nature. Well, again, that's kind of the whole reason we're here. But so we were staying at this family-owned eco resort, and it was beautiful. It was a 400-acre preserve. Everything was farm to table. Wow. It was, like I said, it was family owned. They had a staff that had like a 20-year longevity of employment. And if you've ever worked in hospitality, that turnover is usually
that's ridiculous.
Not 20 years. So we're like, there's something magical about this place. And the more we looked around, the hiking trails, the wildlife we saw, the way that they cared for their land and landscaped, we were like, could we do this? Probably, maybe not in Sneed's Ferry, but
hear me out.
Hear me out. Yeah. So it was literally one of those conversations on our honeymoon. We're like sitting in the pool, wheels are turning. We're just like, how can we make this happen? We actually found an off-market land deal while we were there. We followed two strangers with machetes into the jungle to go see this land allegedly for sale. No, and it wasn't.
So
I'm actually missing a pinky toe.
The machetes are to cut down the vines and clear a path.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again,
It wasn't
allegedly.
covered in rust, hopefully.
Was it what?
It wasn't covered in like blood and rust.
No. Yes. Not that trip. But so they ended up being legit. and they were fantastic. And, you know, for the price they were asking, for the amount of acreage and the ideas that we started having, we're like, this could be everything. Like, we could really make this happen. And we're like, all right, let's take a beat. Let's get home. Let's really run some numbers. Let's see what it's like to purchase in another country. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of all making sense and adding up. And before, you know, I had a hard conversation because we were kind of all in. And I was like, listen, if we're going to buy internationally, I have always wanted to visit Costa Rica. I think that there is a more diverse ecosystem. You can have you can have mountain views that are 10 minutes from the ocean, which is exactly how we sort of picture our dream life. And before we jump into this, I think we should visit Costa Rica. And we were like, okay. So we put that plan on pause, and a few months later we got out there, and I don't think we were in Costa Rica for 15 minutes driving down a road, but we're like, this is it. Like, this is it. So that was in 2024. And then you can talk a little bit about how it spiraled into owning there.
Yeah, so pretty quickly, like Sadie said, we're like Costa Rica. We like Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So we took that time and those trips to kind of bounce around the different areas because there's so many different areas of Costa Rica. It's only the size of roughly North Carolina, so it's not tremendously big. Yeah. So it's enough where in a couple trips you can see a lot of the geographical areas.
If you can drive through the roads.
If you have 4-wheel drive, and big tires, But so we decided. I asked Sadie. I said, "Do you care at all about these townhomes, which were just simple long-term rentals at the time?" And the answer was very
great. I mean, they worked well for us numbers-wise, and we had awesome tenants and worked with really amazing property management, and they did everything they needed to do for us.
And maybe even a better return on money too. You know.
But my key of return is, what's the return on fun? That's my biggest, like, do I really care about this? And the answer is no.
And logistically, as far as getting to that point of purchasing Costa Rica, so again, we bought our first house in 2020. We made every mistake. We hired all the wrong contractors. We fired them. We had to go back and go over all the work. We what's the saying? You like the saying?
Oh, yeah. So, you know, the strategy, finding the best neighborhood and purchasing the worst house.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
We used the strategy of finding the worst neighborhood and then also finding the worst house. And that's what we went with for investment property number one.
Yeah, and that one was, it was $77,000 at the time. It had foundation issues. It had been listed for almost 3 months, and we saw it a couple times, and we're like, you know what, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's figure it out. Penciled by the whole 1% rule and whatnot. Yeah. So, and that kind of spiraled. So in order to come up with the funds to do this along the way, we did a few different things. Once we got rolling, we were able to do 1031 exchanges, and just our strategy went from let's get a few long-term rentals and hold them forever to, all right, let's go ahead and just try to trade up to the next property until we have ones that we want to hold for the foreseeable future. Right. And then to just make sure they're in either an appreciating or a cash flow type market, and then just make it so that the numbers pencil and be able to kind of be a little bit less leveraged. I would say on a like Dave Ramsey to Robert Kiyosaki scale, we're like a 3. So
you're more Dave Ramsey side?
We lean more towards Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
Yeah, if Dave Ramsey's a 0, we're like a 3, I would say.
Okay.
I think he would.
So not highly leveraged.
Exactly, and
I think
it wasn't always that way.
a little bit at us. But
It wasn't always that way. Like we definitely used leverage to purchase the properties along the way. As far as pretty much every property that we have purchased has been between $100,000 and $200,000. So that people might not relate to that in Pennsylvania or New York or California or wherever, but yeah, so we just went all in. I mean, we liquidated my 401k through the Coast Guard, which is a TSP, which probably most people wouldn't do that.
I didn't have a dime to contribute, but I could tell Chris where to put a nice little lamp to decorate an Airbnb along the way.
It's good to have that touch, though.
Yeah. That's all Sadie. Sadie gets 100% credit for that.
And then, just to speak a little bit on where we started, the neighborhood that we bought in, not the first, it was one of many red flags of what are we doing? What did we do? So we are outside just, making some plans of how to, maybe spruce up the front yard before putting a tenant in there. A gentleman walks over and offers his lawn mowing services to us, and we're like, hey, thanks so much. It's nice to meet you. How can we get in touch with you if, and he's like, well, I don't have a phone, so just come knock on my door if you ever need anything. We're like, okay, probably not going to do that. But at the time, we, in the chaos of all of purchasing our first investment property and DIYing a lot of the things, we also decided to adopt a puppy. It's never
Makes
like,
sense.
yeah.
I'm sure you can imagine whose idea that was.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if you get a house, the least you could do is let me have this baby dog, who ended up becoming our entire personality and brand ambassador. So he's the best return on investment. But anyway, so I am holding sweet baby puppy Bowie, our dog, and he says, hey, you should really get that dog's ears clipped. And he's part pit bull, but never crossed my mind to clip my own dog's ears. Right. And I kind of look at him and I'm like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, when you start fighting him, when he starts fighting in dog rings, like that's usually what they go for. So just keep that in mind. Maybe do his tail too. And I'm like, okay.
We looked at each other and we're like, what neighborhood do we just buy this house in?
Got it. Thanks.
All right, Michael Vick.
Thanks for the Rex.
No, those were Vic's friends, not him specifically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Don't
so
sue me.
Never knocked on his door. He did not cut our lawn. Never saw our dog. He never got to see our dog again. And our dog's ears are fully intact.
Okay, good.
Yes, anyway, that's kind of like where we started. We were looking on Craigslist at the time for the cheapest possible contractors. We walked into a guy using the bathroom sink as a spackle bucket.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't
Don't
be.
recommend.
Maybe for him, not the investor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we poor shout out Jennifer Moore. I forgot which
our
realty.
original
She was
agent, yes.
we knew nothing except for the podcast and running the numbers, the deal a day, whatever Brandon Turner said to do. And we went all over the place. We looked at probably 25 or 30 houses. We made offers on 12 of them, and it all just kind of full circle moment ended up back in Jacksonville in that one area. And to touch on that too, as soon as we're scrambling, we found some tenants on Marketplace, which also it worked out fine.
Yeah, they were great. They were awesome tenants.
They were great. They had a huge, on paper, they had 2 huge pit bulls. And that's kind of a deterrent. But then we said, we're like, you know what?
Want to meet them.
We want to meet the dogs. And this dog was 100 pounds of potato. She was loved and happy and just kind of rolled over as soon as you see her. So we're like, come on in.
Didn't have her ears clipped?
No ears.
She had
she had
ears intact. Yep.
What
So
about
to
her tail?
keep her away from
Tail
that
was good to
neighbor.
go. And so we scrambled to do as much of the work ourselves and get it up and running. Sadie's out there with a paintbrush painting the porch, and we're doing the screens and all this stuff. And we're like, all right, we got it. definitely were relying on some Dunkin' Donuts iced coffees late at night and making it work.
All-nighters. Yeah.
And then we were like, all right, sounds good. Here's the keys. We passed them off, and they were moving in. They started a load of laundry, and we're like, cool, see you later. We did it, do some fist bumps, and then we're not even out of the driveway yet, and the tenant said, hey, Chris, the dryer, which is stackable, the dryer just fell off. Like, it's broken. Like, it just broke the trim and the sheetrock, and it just fell off of the washer. And I'm like, what did we do? Like, how did we, all right, I guess we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Contractors didn't install the bracket for the stackable. I also didn't test it, so I guess ultimately it's on me. But yeah, so that was our introduction to the first house of real estate.
We were net profiting about $400 a month from there, and we're like, oh my gosh, we are rich. We made it. We are real estate moguls. We are gurus. Everybody should follow our. The house wasn't even haunted, and we got a deal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Was the house haunted?
No, they're not this one. No,
Okay. Did you buy any that were haunted?
not yet. No, it's not.
It's on the list.
We walked there was one house specifically in Goldsboro, which is a couple hours away, and we went there with our realtor, and we were trying to figure out the key situation to get into the house, and the neighbors just sitting on the porch, and she said, oh, usually people just walk around back and just let themselves in.
And we're like, people.
We're like, she's
people?
like homeless people were living in the house, and there's, it was a terrible walk through and whatnot. We're out on that, but seen some houses.
Everything you can imagine that would be in a squatter's
Paradise.
realm. Paradise, yes. It was on the floor. It was, there was designated, everything. But I'll leave that to your imagination, what the house is like. So anyway, Costa Rica. So we loved Costa Rica when we finally visited there. And I know Brittany was introduced to some of the puppies that we ended up bringing back.
I was about to ask about that.
We can talk
How'd you
about
bring
the
back puppies?
with a lot of help and
More money and a positive attitude.
yes, and some money and 2 little carry-ons. No, but so it's our first time in Costa Rica. We were day 2 of our trip, and I'm sorry, I'll take you back to day 1. So day 1, we go see this waterfall. It's lovely. We go to lunch that's near the waterfall, and on the napkin holders at the table, there's a little barcode of like, volunteer on vacation, come support our dog rescue. And I'm like, oh, Chris, I miss Bowie. We've been gone for 12 hours. We should go help some puppies. And the owner was actually there, and I asked how to get involved. And he's like, why don't you guys come back tomorrow? You can do some feeding and some playing. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. Let's go help some Costa Rica puppies. And so the next day, we had a zipline excursion booked, and we get out of our Airbnb. It's like 6 a.m. and we start down this road, and we're staying pretty remotely out of the way. And Chris stops the car, and he's like, I think there's a weird bird in the road. So he stops and he looks out. He's like, oh my gosh, Sadie, it's a puppy. So I fly out of the car, and between that puppy being in the road, there were 5 others like scattered, and they were covered in weeds and fleas and dirt, and there was this overturned basket, and they were all like crying. I mean, there's so little. So we scoop them all up, and we're like, okay, I think we got all of them. We gave it a good sweep, and we're like, we know exactly where to bring them. We just met a dog rescue. Yeah. They didn't open until 12, so the puppies came to ziplining with us, but it was about to rain, so I'm like, even if we have them in a basket with some water, we got them some food, I'd rather them be in here than in the rain, and we would periodically check on them and everything. Once the rescue finally opened, we came like running in. We're like, we have puppies, and they were like, thank you so much for bringing them. Really good thing that you did. They probably wouldn't have survived out there. We cannot take these puppies in. We are all donation and volunteer based, and we do not have the funds or the hands to now raise 6 puppies. Oh, wow. So I'm like, well, I guess we're taking them home then. Yeah.
Quick conversation.
It was a quick glance of like, you know what to do. So the rescue center really, really helped us in the way that we still had, 7 or 8 days left on our trip, where we're like, if you can vet them and care for them this upcoming week, and we fund that process, and make it so that we take them back to the States, like we're ready to go. We'll do that. And they did. And they actually, in the meantime, they found homes for 2 of them with the same family. So now we only had to bring 4 back and not 6. And, yeah, we went through the logistics of like, you know, they're small enough. They fit in 2 carriers. They became our carry-on luggage. We just had to check our bags. We had to adopt them on paper. They had their shots that were required to enter the United States, and the rescue center really did all of that hard paperwork stuff.
Very nice.
So they met us at the airport, and by the time we were leaving, not only did we decide that we were going to somehow buy a house in Costa Rica, but now we're also leaving with 4 dogs. So we brought them back, and you know, we had them probably 9 weeks or so. They were so little. They were just a pound. We brought them home.
Little.
They were little, and our dog Bowie was so good with them. He taught them what it was like to live with a big dog, toughen them up a little bit, and they were growing and they were healthy, and we got them to a vet here. And then Bridget at Sundial, I don't know if you've interviewed Sundial before, right? Bridget is, oh my gosh, she is heaven on earth. And she allowed us to host an adoption event inside and to meet the community. And by the end of the day, we were overflowing with applications for the Costa Rica puppies. And they were hard goodbyes, but they all stayed local. And Bridget kept one, Tika, so she gets to visit the coffee shop sometimes, and we stay in touch. And it was honestly the proudest thing we've ever done. When you said like define success, being able to do that with the time that it required and the funds that it took, that was the most important thing I've ever been a part of, just to change 6 little lives if we could. And would love to continue to do that. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. Puppies.
The reason why I asked, I'm planning a trip to Costa Rica in October.
Are you also looking for a dog?
No. Also have 2 kids and a dog, so.
When you're driving, look high, don't look low.
Right.
You'll see some dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
So Costa Rica, for us technically the American educated people, where is Costa Rica?
It's down there.
So Costa Rica is Central America. It's between Nicaragua and Panama. So just in between
it's like
them.
way down there.
It's pretty. It's pretty far south. Yeah.
And we are situated north of Panama, a couple hours north of Panama. So we're on the Pacific side of the country.
Okay.
There's a Caribbean side and a Pacific side. We're on the Pacific. And we're pretty far south into the country, but near some really cool national parks.
Why'd you pick the cold water versus the warm water?
Well, nothing's really cold in Costa Rica.
Okay.
Barely even the ice that is served in your drink.
Okay.
So when you think Pacific, like you might think like California water, it is not like that. You might have to keep your eyes out for a crocodile, but you won't have to worry about being cold.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, when I think of, you were talking about Hawaii, and I'm like, I know the water there isn't the warmest.
It is not, because you're just floating on a rock in the middle of the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You're totally right about that. Now, before we landed on the place that we eventually bought, during our first trip, that was the introductory puppy trip. We did all the excursions. We saw a couple parts of the country. We kind of weeded out like would be cool, but maybe not exactly what we're looking for in terms of location and things to do and the market there. Now, Chris's toxic trait is wherever we go, I suddenly am getting Zillow notifications. He's immediately on the hunt. Yeah. My thing is like I could be somewhere for maybe 5 or 6 hours and decide like I could live here. I could do this. So within the span of a month, we actually went back to Costa Rica 3 times. To once, that introductory trip, the next time to see a different part of the country and check out some land and see the national park, which, going back to some investor mistakes, Chris's wallet was stolen by a monkey that trip.
Oh, wow.
So we learned that
a real monkey.
A real monkey,
An actual monkey.
We learned that you cannot leave unattended baggage, not because of crime, but because of white-faced capuchin monkeys. Yes, we got it back. Everything was intact. They, they only took a couple bills, but and the monkey's still alive. He's good, but
barely. We're in a national park. It doesn't matter.
And then once we figured out that land also wasn't exactly the move that we were capable of making at the time, then we found the perfect location for us. And the third trip was to go back, walk the house. We actually stayed in the neighborhood at an Airbnb within walking distance, and that was the sealed deal, chef's kiss. Yeah. Like this is exactly it. And
I think it's important to talk about too. Costa Rica logistically is very different. So they just got an MLS. They didn't have one up until last year.
Oh, interesting.
So when we were searching, it was a series of random websites that don't work properly, and the pictures are horrible, and it's basically everything was typically off market or on one website, but it's not on any other website. So it was definitely a challenge, but also an opportunity. Yeah. And then the house, when we first purchased it, we went there, we loved it, everything was great. It was built in 2023, so it was relatively new. But it's a smaller house, very humble house.
And we got to finally use the strategy of this is when we found the best neighborhood and the worst house.
Yes, definitely was the worst house in the best neighborhood.
Nobody threatened our dog. It was great.
And structurally, everything was great for the house, but didn't have any AC. The layout was a little bit funky, so there was some sort of miscommunication between the seller and their builders when they actually built it. So they planned on having half of the house was an attached apartment, if you will, to be able to rent that out on Airbnb, and then a studio or I guess her living quarters on the other side. So the kitchen area was boxed off by this wall with an opening because it was originally designed to be a pantry. So the layout was all sorts of weird. So the kitchen was, not even the size of this table wide and about 12 feet long. So it's like you're in
could not have walked through.
Yeah, you're in a hallway in the kitchen.
It's a true galley.
Exactly, as galley as it gets. So that was kind of the picture that we saw, and we said, you know what? Well, if we could just tweak this a little bit and mess around and meet some contractors, and I think we could do it. You know.
So we purchased in August of 2024, and then we went back in at the end of November of 2024, and we stayed for a few months to get that renovation started. And we thought that we would have everything done in 60 days. We did not. It took us 60 days to decide what we wanted to do. We had no work done by the time we left other than mapping out ideas and meeting builders, and we made some great contacts while we were there, and that set us up to have the renovation process done in the months following. So now she's all done for now. We did buy the house with the knowledge that there was a separate cleared lot on the property, so it's 3.2 acres, 2.7?
2.4.
2.4 acres. Yeah. And we would love to use every inch of that space, not to build and knock down or to, hurt any trees in the process, but to make it that eco resort that originally inspired us and have a separate place to create our vision.
Yeah. No, I love that. So, unfortunately, we're coming up on our time.
Okay, sorry guys.
But that just means that this is just part one. We'll come back next year because we do it yearly.
Yeah.
And then we can actually have some whiskey with you.
Yes, definitely. Unless I'm still pregnant.
We can meet guitarist.
Yeah, exactly.
But my normal question is, what does success look like for you? Mm-hmm. And I think that you've stated a few different times, and I love your... we've heard some really good suggestions as what success looks like more than the average. But outside of being successful for you guys, what does success look like in your reach to the community?
Yeah, so I spoke a little bit about my background in marine science and conservation biology and wildlife, and I've started a little platform to make it fun and relatable. My biggest goal in this life is to get you to care about our planet a little more than you did the day before. And I want that to be fun, and I want it to directly impact you and what you can do, whether you go to the beach after this and you see a piece of trash and throw it away because that's at the forefront of your mind. I did my job, and that's all I want to do. I want to involve everybody. I think taking care of our planet is everybody's job, and the way that I can do that is through my voice. I'm not a scientist, and I no longer technically work in the field, but if I can make a lot of friends on the way and inspire some people to just take a little bit better care, then I am fulfilling my mission here on Earth.
That's awesome.
What about you? What's yours? Trying to follow that up.
I gotta follow that.
Right.
So that's, drop the mic and then take over, Chris. Go ahead. Yeah, you guys got anything? No. So, I mean, I got a big heart for dogs. We both do. We share that in common. Something that I felt that I've been missing ever since leaving the Coast Guard was being in a first responder type role. So I really enjoyed that during my time while I was in. Just wrapped up the fire academy, so I'm hoping to jump into that soon and just be able to be a first responder in the community, just because that's something that I'm passionate about. Yeah. I think it's applicable, and especially, you know, no matter where you are, you're somewhere different. Like Costa Rica, they have great healthcare, everything's awesome, but I still would feel a little bit better knowing that there's just a little bit of more security for us health-wise, and to be able to expand that into the community as well, I think would be great.
And involving Costa Rica in that, you know, it is a functioning Airbnb. We'd love to talk to you about that and a place to stay. But giving that opportunity to people to get this immersive experience of the rainforest and being close to the beach and connected to the wildlife there, I think is a huge inspiration and pull to do a little bit more. We're involved in a sea turtle response team out there as well. Oh, wow. And they're always looking for vacation volunteer people. And so it's open for booking, and we love to be able to share that experience with friends and family. And it's a great way to intertwine both of our passions of, you know, we're good at real estate, and it's become the vessel to live exactly how we want and give back to our planet.
That's great.
Younger self, one good thing that you would tell them?
I would say, you might not expect this out of me, but I would say start reading books earlier and listening to podcasts. There's a lot of, I'm grateful for a lot of vehicle time, both on commutes to work and whatnot, but I think I would say start listening to podcasts and books earlier. That's something that has paid dividends 100 times over, and I would say, don't just read a little bit more, dummy. You know, I love it.
I would say to my younger self, you did not become a dolphin like you probably thought you would or wanted to. You got pretty close. No, but you're gonna do everything you want in this life, and you're gonna change a lot of lives along the way. And don't let anything put your fire out. And life is beautiful. There's going to be some bumps and bruises, but you're going to meet some of the most incredible people, including, you know, your person in this life. And every day is going to be an exciting new opportunity to do exactly what you want and what you were made to do.
Love it. So everybody, thank you guys for listening. Check in the show notes for all of their handles so you can find their Airbnb as well as follow them and all their fun adventures that they have going on here. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much for having us, Chris and Tyler. It was great to meet you. Thanks for all that you do and bringing the community together. And I think people they'll pick up some good stuff along this podcast. So aside from our episode, there's some really great ones too. But
Thanks.
Catch you in the next one.
Cheers.